I've spent the cost of cars on mentorship and training and being able to get in certain rooms. This is the thing that a lot of people maybe who aren't super comfortable on the phone or dealing with tough environments don't want to do. But I bring up the tough stuff before I have that tough stuff brought up because it's easier to talk about it before it's an issue.
We're hopping in. We get a couple people in here.
Who here is devoted to the cause and their mission, or who's out having a good time on a Friday? For me, this is a good time. I work all the time, so I'm used to it. I feel antsy when I'm not working. It didn't always used to be the case, but is the case now. I got told today that Tuesday was the 4th of July, and I couldn't schedule a thing I wanted to do on that day. That's how I'm not even noticing holidays right now.
We have a bunch of people in the networking channel. It's crazy what just seeing the growth, man, of this community is incredible. Like, there's so many people popping up, becoming leaders, taking initiative and just pouring into the community. It's really, really inspiring, very inspirational to see. Incredibly humble,
That's awesome.
incredibly grateful to be a part of it, man.
What was it for you that got you starting this? Like, what was the cause? What was the spark?
For me, it was the fact that I paid a few $1,000s to be in a mastermind. And, I was really that guy that was the squeaky wheel trying to make connections and get involved with people in my market. And they kind of brushed me off. They didn't take me seriously. And so there was that. That was a huge inspiration for me to say, hey, well, I don't even know why I spent this money to be kind of disregarded. And on top of that, there was just no other community that I felt really in the real estate space that could do what I wanted to do in terms of connecting people, empowering people, and creating opportunity to connect people. Really, like, I see wholesaling as just such an intricate business model. I really love wholesaling. I think that it's awesome. Like, I always wanted to be in real estate, and I tried so many different vehicles to get into the world of real estate until I found out about wholesaling, and I found out that I could just be in real estate. And when I heard about that and when I figured it out, that was when I just wanted to go all in on this thing. And then what is funny is I watched a challenge with Ryan Zolan, and Ryan Zolan was talking about agents and how he is leveraging his relationships with agents to do deals. And I was like, well, I see what Jamil is doing in terms of Keegley and what he's got going on with wholesalers. I just feel like we could do it better. And
I love that. I love that. I'm gonna tell Jamil you said that too.
Please
He'll love
do.
that too.
Hey, I'd love to tell Jamil that face to face, man. I feel like he's definitely played a huge role in inspiring me to know what's really possible. He's paved the way, in terms of creating that business model. And I took massive inspiration from what he's been able to accomplish with Keegley. And
Love that. Well, Steve Trang is very impressed with you. I can tell you that. He's not here, so I'm happy to let you know. I always he doesn't compliment people to their face, so that's it's a big thing for him. not his forte.
I appreciate that. Steve has been a huge inspiration to me as well. I mean, when I was first getting started, I watched all his podcasts. There was not a single real estate disruptor podcast that I hadn't seen. Same with Brent Daniels, man.
Yeah, those are two of the guys. I'll tell you, Steve Trang is probably the reason I got into real estate at all, which is why it's absolutely wild how in such a short period of time I went from, being someone who was like maybe in a Discord, watching stuff, like watching YouTube, listening to podcasts while driving, to then deciding to take actual action, to go like, okay, not only do I want to take action, to really take action, that means sometimes spending a little bit of money. There's incredible free resources like your community here. But once I started to spend a little bit of money to get into certain rooms and start knocking on doors that I wasn't even able to knock on until I was because I didn't have anything to offer yet because I was new to real estate, but I spent some money to be able to knock on the doors that things started coming my way. And now that I've been on the Real Estate Disruptors podcast, that was insane that happened so quickly. And that I'm a partner with Steve now is a really exciting thing.
Or where attention goes, energy flows. So I do.
That's absolutely true.
100%.
I've spent the cost of cars on mentorship and training and being able to get into certain rooms. People are willing to, they're like, oh, I'm willing to, buy luxury goods or things that totally don't appreciate or have, they're not an asset in any way, shape, or form. And people are willing to spend a lot of money on vacations, which I do as well. I love vacations. I love traveling. That's a big thing I like to do. I think that's enriching yourself. But for some reason, there's a certain segment of the population that has some type of mental block about spending money on getting in the right room, about getting knowledge in that sense. Now, they'll go into crazy student loan debt because that's like part of the narrative. But the idea of actually spending a little bit of money to actually get knowledge from someone who's going to instruct you on exactly what you're trying to do right now, there's some hesitation there. And it's justified for some people because there's plenty of grifters and gurus online that absolutely don't have a track record whatsoever and probably charge the most. And you get burned once by that can, that can ruin the whole thing. I've spent tens of thousands, but it has paid me back many times over. The main thing is, and maybe this won't relate to any of the people in this community, but like, I'm not fundamentally a real estate guy. I'm actually a sales guy. And for me, wholesaling real estate was a way to do sales for myself. That's really what it was for me. It's not that I fell in love with houses or properties or reaching out to homeowners. It was, I fell in love with the process of outreach, of running a presentation, of, hey, maybe we can make this work, maybe we can't. The negotiation, the human side of running that business was what I loved. Right now, I'm in charge. We're building an internal sales team to be able to be outreach and like sell training. But because I came from a more generic sales background, not coming from a real estate background, one of the things that Steve had been wanting to do, but really wasn't able to make happen until I came along, is he wanted to branch out into general sales training, like just training more people than just real estate. But obviously our audience is real estate. So right now it's still like 95% real estate for this thing we've branched out with. But we launched the Sales Disruptors Community, which is like honestly, it's like the greatest thing I've been a part of. It's amazing. I think we're almost at 100 members now, which is wild, over about a month and a half, I think, maybe a little bit less. So that's awesome. So that's like a big part of my time is doing that and like training the internal team, just a lot of meetings. Yeah, that's a lot of what I do.
That's incredible. And so what does the Sales Disruptors community really focus on?
But right now we wanted to be like, okay, most people can't afford $15,000 for like a year commitment to be able to do sales training. Like most people can't. You can once you've got a bunch of employees, you can do that, and then like they come to us, right? Like that makes a lot of sense. But in terms of people who are like, I just don't have that type of capital just sitting around, and if I did, I'm using it to pay my bills or pay for advertising. I don't know if I can do it on training. So we opened it up to a much, much lower, I consider kind of like insanely low price point, and decided to launch it so it could be like, how can we give so much value that it would be ridiculous to say no to?
That's really important, especially, for people that are just getting started in sales that want to really refine their skill. To be around people that are actively practicing is very important. And I think that's the huge benefit of being in proximity with people that are specifically focused on improving their sales ability minimum 3 times a week. So that's really cool.
But we've set it up. It's in sales in general, in terms of having conversations where a lot of revenue is on the line. There can be a level of ego for some people, but we've set it up that like joining this community means you get better when everyone else gets better. That's the nature of this community. So like the biggest win for me was when I did a training one time, and when someone was like, I need to work on this a little bit more. Like we'd been talking about some scenario, and someone else came off mic and was like, hey, I'm going through that same thing. You and I, we'll role play separately after this call and go through this together. So like we're building out this community of people where it's like the goal is to hone your skills and get better at actually having conversations with people every single day.
getting those reps in and actually picking up the phone, making those calls is really the only way that you're going to improve. And then, to have people that you can role play with, to actually nail down your script, understand how you're structuring your call, understand how to handle objections. That's what's really ultimately going to get you to that next level, because without practicing these things, you won't have the foundation. You won't be prepared to handle the objections in real time on the phone. I think, what a great way to spend some time would be actually to open it up to members of the community that are just getting started to come up and actually interact with us on the stage, so that we can kind of maybe jump into how to handle some of these objections, how to structure your call. Because a lot of these people that are recently joining have never made a call before. Maybe they made a few calls, but they don't know really how to structure their calls to pre-qualify sellers correctly, to actually run through some of these scenarios and role play what it's going to be like on the phone with these sellers to prepare ourselves for these conversations.
Just think about a scenario that you've either, if you haven't made a call, or maybe you made a couple calls you're nervous about because this is going to get brought up, or say you've already been calling and you're like, I keep getting this and I'm not quite sure what to do. Hey, do we have a volunteer? The people who volunteer, the people who go, yeah, I'll do it, are always the ones who actually get the most out of the training.
Let's bring up our boy Devin. Devin, how you doing tonight, man?
I'm good, John. How are you doing, brother?
Fantastic, brother. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, man. I'm glad to be on.
How's it going, Devin?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Good, man. Funny enough, I was calling the other day and there was a guy, and I'm cold calling just a list of people, seeing if they want to sell their house, of course. And this fella goes, why are you calling me? And I explained to him and I was like, yeah, this house that I was like, well, who's your partners? Who are your partners? And I explained to him, like, I've got a list of investors that it really just depends on what the property would bring to them, because I don't work with the same partner every single time. And he was like, well, name them. And I was like, I can name them, but and he it seemed like he was really angry.
Disqualifying is a big part about having any type of sales conversation, right? Being comfortable disqualifying someone is super important, because your time is worth money, because you could be having a conversation with someone who is interested in selling. And so wasting your time is costing you money. And so first of all, we want to always approach it from that mentality, from that awareness that getting rid of someone who's never going to sell is better than getting a maybe or a long drawn out process from someone who's never going to sell.
Right.
So I can role play the scenario a little bit. You can be him. Just be him. I'll just talk you through. I'll say I work with partners, and then you sort of give me how you were reacting, and I'll sort of talk you through how I would probably have approached that. So we work with partners, Devin, to be able to buy properties. I'm assuming.
Okay, so who are your partners?
I've never been asked that before. You must be asking that for a reason.
Oh wow. Yeah. You're calling my phone randomly. I don't even know who you are, dude. So who are your partners? You work in Marshall, huh?
Do I work in where?
Marshall. Yeah, I call Marshall.
Yeah. Right. Okay, yeah. So sometimes I can tell you. I'm just an investor. Is really my main thing. I'm looking to buy homes in that area and other areas, and so sometimes I work with other partners depending on the deal to potentially get more money to make it work. So it doesn't sound like this is a type of call that you usually get, or do you get this all the time? You're always getting. I'm gonna guess you're getting bugged all the time with calls like this.
Yeah, people call me all the time. I hate it, and they're just wasting my time, giving me lowball offers. I'm not giving my house away for $10.
Got it. I totally understand that. The last thing I want to do is waste your time or my time. So I'm right away, no lowball offers. I totally get it. I'm curious then. I'm very interested in buying the property. So are my partners, the mysterious ones that you're curious about. I want to make sure that this is a property that makes sense for us to buy. Would you be opposed to me asking you a few questions about your situation and about the property, so I can determine if I can really make you an offer and this can be a property that we can buy, so you don't have to get these calls anymore?
Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Okay.
That's good. That's good. Because he was irking me. The more frustrated he got, I was like, "What is this guy on?" Like I don't. And that was great.
Nice, awesome,
that's crazy.
So there's a couple things to go over there. You must be asking me that for a reason. Is a thing we use all the time.
Right.
That's worth writing down. That's a valuable thing for most of the people on this call. We're calling data for people who are getting calls a lot, right? And so I always like to call that out. I'm like, I bet I'm not the first person to call you today.
Yeah.
Right. And they're like, no, you're the 10th. I'm like, well, first off, you must be crazy for even answering the phone, because I wouldn't have even answered the phone to talk to me. So thank you for doing that. I appreciate that. I wouldn't have done that myself. If I'm the 10th call. While I have you on the phone though, Devin, are you opposed to me asking you some questions so I can determine if this is something that we could actually buy, so we could stop you having to get these calls anymore? Because we are serious about actually buying. Another thing I did there, are you opposed to me asking you some questions? Because they get to say the word no as permission to go forward, right? So people get to say no. This guy called me in the middle of the day. It's a Friday afternoon. You call me on a Friday? Whatever the day is. Tuesday, Monday, Sunday, whatever the day is, right? Would you be opposed to me just asking you some questions so that blank? These people are so annoyed. They want to say no. They want to say no to you.
Right.
And so we want to find ways that they can say no as a way for us to continue on.
Exactly.
That's why I never say, do you have 5 minutes? Do you have a minute? Never ask that. It's always, I probably caught you at a bad time. So I talk about it as someone raises a shield. That's an objection. We want to walk around the shield rather than hitting the shield, because if you hit the shield, that's traditional sales training. Here's an objection. Here's my rebuttal. I'll hit your shield. They dig in harder. I'm a big believer in walking around it. That's validating. So instead of saying, in the instance of Mercedes-Benz, someone goes, I hate Mercedes-Benz. Instead of going, I agree with you, they're bad, I would say, I can get why you say that. I've heard people who have that opinion before. I'm curious why it is you feel that way about this model. I validated you, but I didn't agree with the value judgment, but I still made sure that you felt heard and understood. That's the middle V.
How y'all doing?
Good. How's it going?
I'm good.
But to just get started, to just get going, what you need to really do is just start calling for sale by owner. Just start calling listings. You just start having conversations. The very first thing I did, even before I quit, I was in a tech sales job. Even before I quit that, I just started calling realtors throughout the country and just acting like I was going to buy that property and asking questions. Like, just start calling. Like, whatever you got, it doesn't matter. Start having those conversations. I mean, I always have a script in front of me if I'm making a sales call, even if I'm not going to be reading off of it. Like, I wasn't reading off of it earlier, right? I don't kind of need one now. But even still, just to know certain questions, certain ways we say things. When I was in different sales jobs, the tech company I was at the end, the manager came up to me and saw me. I was calling restaurant owners for this job, and I had a script in front of me, and he was like, "What is that you're reading from?" Because I had written the script. So it was my words. I wasn't taking someone else's words. I wrote my own script out so I would be prepared on what to say if they said certain things. Just until I got more used to it. You would definitely want to have certain things in front of you, things you want to know, ways to phrase certain things. Hey, listen, I'm not sure if you can help me or not, but the reason for the call today, John, is I have been trying to get a hold of the owner of 123 Main Street, but that's probably not you. This is a thing for those of you cold calling. I said John like I knew him. If I have the data, if I skip traced it, I always sound like they should be expecting my call. I say my name as a question. When you say your own name as a question, this is a weird thing. It confuses the person you're talking to. If I go, hey, yeah, this is Ian. This is John. This is Devin. When you do that, they go, do I know an Ian? Do I know a John? Was I expecting a call from Devin? This doesn't sound like my friend Devin. Wait, what the heck is going on? This is a pattern interrupt. Because there's a lot of data that shows if you get past the first 30 seconds and then 60 seconds of a call, these sudden hangups, not the I'm not interested, I don't want to talk to you hang up. Because that's someone who's like knows your circumstances and then has made it clear they don't want to talk to you. But the hangups where you didn't even get to determine if this was a lead or not, they trail off drastically after 30 seconds is the first one. And then the next one's 60 seconds. And so we do have a bunch of techniques to even get over those humps of time so that they can ask them more questions about the property. So what were your thoughts on that poverty created? I haven't missed anything. Do you think that was helpful? Was it valuable?
Yeah, definitely gain some more knowledge. And like I can see where like a little bit of reverse psychology comes into play, you know, just trying to, okay, I definitely understand. It makes it a bit easier. Yeah, thank you.
It will also help you separate from all the other people who are calling those same numbers. That's the other thing. All these other people are calling the same numbers over and over again. So having a different approach there. Where's the first 30 seconds? Hey, Devin, welcome back.
Thank you. Glad to be back.
I've been so just like obsessed with sales lately, and just kind of taking a step back to see how sales really plays a role in everything we do every single day. Every social interaction we have is sales, like seriously. And so to be able to set expectations with people, not only just like for real estate, but like in general, is huge, because then you can actually understand like how you're interacting with people, the expectations that you set for people in your relationships and day-to-day life. Like, and it also, you know, we disqualify sellers, but sometimes, you know, we got to disqualify people, you know, from life as well. So being aware of that, having that heightened sense of awareness is super cool. And Ian is an absolute maniac, sales psycho. He loves this. He is full on. He's obsessed with sales. So he's the guy to be going to talk about it. So I appreciate you, Ian, for coming on. I really did like the way that you kind of set that expectation for the seller to say, hey, what if, you know, by the time we do get out to the property, we inspect the property and it isn't, you know, what we think it is based off our conversation? What is your reaction going to be if we do need to actually drop the price on our agreement, right? Because that right there is going to save you a lot of time. If somebody tells you, I'm not even going to entertain any offer lower than this dollar amount.
Yep, exactly. I get that a lot. People say that a lot. I won't accept a penny less. By the way, if someone actually wouldn't accept a penny less, which is very rare, someone actually wouldn't, but if they actually wouldn't, I want to know that, because that's an emotionally illogical person. Because if someone's willing to accept $35,000, but they wouldn't accept $34,999.99, they actually wouldn't. Some people are that irrational. Then, like, I need to know that before and prepare for that going in. So, and it's always, I always bring up the issues. This is the thing that a lot of people maybe aren't super comfortable on the phone or dealing with tough environments don't want to do. But I bring up the tough stuff before I have that tough stuff brought up, because it's easier to talk about it before it's an issue. And they'll also, like, I'll understand them. Hopefully it never comes up. But also when it does, we have already talked about it. And I talked about it before it mattered. So, like, if I have to be like, I'm curious, what's going to happen if I have to pull out? What if I can't do this? Man, like, but I'm not saying it's going to happen. What if that happens? What if I want to figure out that, to make sure that I'm not wasting your time and I'm respecting you, I want to talk about that ahead of time, because it's not happening yet. And so I get to learn, like, where they're at, what's their emotional state, how aggressive are they, and also just prepare in case it does happen. They've told me what the circumstances are going to be. Then I get to bring it up and be like, hey, I remember the thing I was afraid to talk about? There's something I'm going to tell you, and you're going to be mad at me. Even though you're prepared, I feel like you're prepared, I still think you're going to be mad at me, and it's my fault. What is it? I'm not going to be able to blah, blah, blah. So, like, it's so powerful to establish stuff ahead of time. I've got some notes here, but I found it's always better to actually, when you have someone on the phone, to learn about their actual circumstance rather than just trying to trust some notes that I have. So some of the questions I ask you, they might feel a little repetitive. It's just me trying to make sure I understand your situation. Would that be okay? And I get that buy-in before, I don't say that once they're annoyed. I say it before I ask a repeat question. Because you get that buy-in ahead of time. Sure, I understand. It's like, because I just want to make sure these notes are here, but the notes never tell the whole story. So I might ask you some questions. They might seem a little bit repetitive. Would that be all right? I just want to make sure I understand your circumstances. Right. If you do that beforehand, they're like, sure. And then they're not going to be mad. And then if someone's like, hey, you already asked this. I'm like I said, I just trying to make sure your circumstances, that I actually have them right, because we're really serious about buying this. And I want to make sure that I got it right, because notes never tell the whole story. Okay. Keep going. Go ahead. Right. Yeah.
Hi.
What's up, Ella?
Hi.
Hey, what's up? I just have a quick question, because I was in and out of the voice. Didn't know if you went over it. But that monthly package that you offer, what does it include? It's the 3 calls per week?
Yeah, so it's the Sales Disruptors Community. We're doing 3 calls minimum every week. It comes with all of the scripts that we've used, recordings of events that people paid $5,000 for. The Steve's Sales Masterclass, he used to charge $5,000 just for that course. Recording of like a dispositions event, our lead generation data handling package, all our like text templates. It literally comes with like everything that we used to charge upwards. I think so. When we first put it together, someone, I forget what the amount was. I think it was literally was stuff that we have charged over $10,000 for.
Oh, that's absolutely amazing. Okay, I just wasn't sure what I was signing up for, but
There's
I
a
love the
lot.
sound of
It's a
it.
Discord as well. It's a Discord as well, but like the training calls happen. There's a link in there. Everyone gets in there. We're active. It's an exciting community. I'm very excited to be a part of that one.
This is really good. I am super psyched. Thank you so much. And John, thank you for always, bringing people to the stage that had so much value that we wouldn't normally be exposed to. So thank you.
My pleasure.
Appreciate it. I appreciate you, Ella. I appreciate the community. I appreciate you, Ian, for coming on. And I'm excited as well. I want to see everybody in here grow and prosper. So let's make it happen.
Awesome. All right. I'm going to shoot off. I got a newborn that I got to go. I got to tend to.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it, Ian. Thank you so much.
All right. You got it. Take care, everyone.
Take care, everybody. Have a great night.